a deli ticket. You've got X amount of time to come in and do this. The Russians have this figured out. They're great at queuing up for stuff. Yep. So you should call them and say, hey, Vlad, since you like helping us out so much. Russians have this figured out. They're great at queuing up for stuff.
Well, I'm into deep winter greenhouses. I grow all my stuff here in my basement. I have a grow lights and stuff in here. I'm growing tomatoes. I have tomatoes growing. I have lettuce growing. I grow everything here in my basement. I have over a year's supply of storage food down in my basement here. So everybody's getting all this food. I can last a whole year without buying anything right now.
Awesome. You're ready for the zombie apocalypse that's coming.
Well, I've always been into food storage ever since when the gas prices went up from 30 cents to $1, all the stores were just like they are now. All the stores were out of food because the truckers weren't delivering. And since then, I've been into food storage way back since 1970.
Awesome. What's your address again?
I'm in Malad, Idaho, way up in Idaho.
If you could send me the address in chat, I may have to go cross country.
You'll never find it. We're at the little house on the prairie. I have a little teeny house on 5 acres.
That's great.
Are you on GPS?
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Then I'll find it.
Hey, we're live on YouTube, so while we're sharing our gratitude, I would love for you guys to, each one of you, to share what you're grateful for. And also, Paulo, maybe start with you talking about what you were saying about social isolation.
Sure. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time over the last year and a half working with an organization that's been really focusing on addressing the issue of social isolation and loneliness, which is a horrifying epidemic, even before this pandemic. And now it's getting exacerbated. People are being forced to stay away from each other physically, which I'm actually in the process of trying to change the conversation from social distancing, which is a horrible thing, to physical distancing, which is much more manageable with authentic, meaningful social connections. So we're working right now from shifting the focus in the short term while we're going through this need for physical distancing, shift from live clubs, which are centered around your passions, biking, hiking, quilting, etc., getting those same people together online to talk about their passions and keep those meaningful relationships together to kind of just have an opportunity to, frankly, disperse the stress, anxiety, and tension that people are feeling from having to be cooped up in their homes.
Yeah, totally.
So it's a really exciting and interesting time, and we're hoping that we can make a difference and be part of the response to what's going on. But there's a lot of focus on the physical aspects of what's going on, but there's not as much on the mental side, like what's happening mentally, which is one of the reasons I wanted to touch base with you around how do we partner on that.
Yeah, this definitely mental health armor is needed. Do you want to share what you're grateful for, and we'll just go around the room here?
Yeah, I'm grateful for the what's actually happening. In a way, it's kind of helping people really kind of rediscover what's really important to them. Because when you have to pull back from all the things that are in front of us, and we find exciting and interesting and just shiny objects, we tend to not focus on what's important. And I'm finding that it's just a lot more meaningful conversations with people. Mm-hmm. And just really connecting with people, getting an opportunity to kind of really connect with who they are and what's really important and who's really important in their lives, and connecting with those people on a more regular basis versus just spending time on meaningless likes or checking their status or whatever.
Yeah, Paulo is in Austin, where they just canceled South by Southwest. And
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. But, you were saying in Chicago, what's it like there?
Yeah, it's probably very similar to everywhere else I've talked around the country. It's just a lot less people out and about. People are, by and large, respecting the physical distancing component when you do see people on the street. Because people say wave from a distance. Physical contact is reduced. Again, part of that isolation and loneliness thing I was talking about earlier. When we're a human species, we need to be physically connected to people and emotionally connected. And you're seeing people just, it looks like the zombie apocalypse in a way. I'm like, I'm in downtown Chicago. Everything's shut down. It's the middle of a Thursday, right? And there's nobody walking around really. No traffic, no people, no stores. It's great to see people supporting each other, though, and when things get tough. It's really been wonderful to watch how people are supporting and doing what they can. And frankly, it's driving innovation, because when you change kind of the basic underlying assumptions of life, people are now trying to be much more innovative around how to solve for this problem, which they weren't spending time thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Harold, how about you? What are you grateful for?
Well, I'm really old now. I just turned 71. So.
Oh, you are not old. You're young.
I'm that I have these, that I can do this with my grandchildren. My son has been in South Korea for 2 years. He just came back to the United States, but I get to talk to my grandkids in South Korea and spend time with them. And because I haven't seen them in like 3 years, but we talk all the time, and so these hangouts like this is just wonderful. They show me their pictures and all that kind of stuff, and it's just a really great way to communicate with people. And another thing I'm thankful for is people are seeing how important relationships with other people are, and that it's very, very important to be social with your family. All the surveys have shown that the longest living people are the ones who socialize with others. All these people in Loma Linda, California, all those Seventh-day Adventists, and they're the longest living people, more people with 100 years old than any other place in the United States. And it's because of the socialization that keeps you alive and healthy. And also exercising. I'm glad I can exercise. I have a bicycle in my basement that I spend 30 minutes on every morning.
Well, that's awesome. Hi, Wendy, how about you?
Yeah, I love it. And I love everything everyone said. I've been really focused on how creative we've been with still getting our socialization. I've been really grateful for technology uses in a good way. We held a good webinar yesterday. I mean, Helium, well, the work we do is all about using technology for good to try to help offset all the negativity. And that couldn't be more important right now. You know, there's so much uncertainty and anxiety in the news, on social media. Everybody's just very concerned about their family, their friends. And so we definitely, are trying to power some good into that. And then, this morning I had a coffee meeting over Zoom, and we can still talk, we can still do this. So I'm just really grateful for the tools we have at our disposal to be able to still connect. I love what you said, Paulo, about it's not social distancing, it's just physical distance. We can still have the social, we can still interact using all of these tools at our disposal. So I'm just grateful that we're doing this in a time that has those tools. I know a lot of the companies have stepped up to make them more available and more affordable or free for schools. And so I can't imagine doing this in a time that didn't have these technology tools at our disposal. I know I've been using my Helium, trying to get away from the house virtually, try to control that anxiety around the uncertainty. So so it's a great time to focus on our mental health and our powerful relationships, at least virtually.
Yeah, and I'm certainly grateful and have gratitude for those things as well, of connections. Some of, Harold, you and I go back a long ways as well. I'm grateful for the online relationships that I have from people that I've never met in person, which is, really wonderful. And, the fact that you can still be connected via video call. I'm thankful for my family, my kids who are no longer kids anymore. They're 20 years old. And obviously, my husband, my mother-in-law who lives with us, who we're trying to keep safe from everything that's going on in the world as far as illness. But I think it's important that we take regular breaks like this and just let each other know that, hey, we know that you're all going through some difficult times right now, but we just have to be mindful of our digital diet and what we're pouring into ourselves as far as what kind of media that we consume, and that consuming some of that negative fiber can make us sick. This is mental health hygiene. It's not just physical hygiene, but much as you would put on gloves or hand sanitizer, mental health hygiene is connecting with people, checking in with people who might be prone to anxiety, escaping into a virtual reality experience or into a meditation app on your phone. We really need to be pouring in some physical peace and also virtual peace to ourselves right now. And I just wanted to say before we close, thank you for sharing your gratitude,
Thank you.
everyone. So
What I just was wondering if you guys, how you're doing with food. My son is in San Jose. He works in San Jose there. He says all the stores in San Jose are closed, all the grocery stores.
Oh,
He
wow.
can't get any food. He had to go way up to the mountains. He had to drive 30 miles to the mountains to get food for his family.
in San Jose, really?
Yeah, all the Safeway stores are closed. He had an order with Safeway, and all the store they were all closed, and
I was just there last
not
week.
closed, but just out of food.
I was just there last week, and they had 3 TSA workers at the San Jose airport who, I don't know if they tested positive or they were presumptive positive, but there was a big push there. Oh, and Sarah Tico just joined us from the UK. And so Sarah, I'm promoting you to a panelist here so that we can see your video. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
So Harold, in Chicago, there hasn't been any food issues at all. Costco, obviously there are some things in the stores that are low,
Yeah.
but no supply issues on food so far. The other thing we can't forget is restaurants are closed and there's a stockpile of food in the restaurants that's not being used. So
Yep.
my guess is you'd be able to leverage restaurants and reach out to them directly to get
Hi,
access.
Sarah.
I'm sure they prefer to sell the food versus just let it rot.
Yeah. Sarah Tico just joined us, and
Hi,
she's
everyone.
doing some fascinating things about mental health in the UK. Sarah, we're streaming on YouTube now. What time
Oh.
is it? What time is it there?
It's nearly 4 p.m. in the afternoon at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just saw that you shared it online, so I thought I'd join, but I have no idea what's going on.
Well, basically, we're just sharing about gratitude. And, you know, I would love for you to share just a brief snippet about what you're seeing in the UK and how people are handling their mental health hygiene. And just to give you guys a little bit of a synopsis on Sarah, she's been through 2 disasters in the last few weeks. She was in Nashville where there was a VR AR conference going on, and a tornado hit. And so she and a bunch of other VR companies went and took VR headsets to help some of the survivors there escape the current reality of what they were going through. Sarah also is doing pioneering work in the UK as it relates to anxiety and art and embodiment. And so can you just share what's going on in the UK, what you're grateful for, and anything that you want to say about mental health hygiene or mental health armor right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I work across almost 3 different roles. So I'm the healthcare lead for an organisation called Immerse UK, that is sort of the main immersive body, sort of uniting people working in immersive technology, and looking into more sort of national initiatives for really uniting people working in the healthcare field and virtual reality, and how we can start to have a bit more of a strategy with the NHS and looking at how we can prescribe games and VR experiences to help people with their mental health, but also around physiotherapy, pain management, and then training and education. And then work with another organisation called Deep, which is a breath controlled VR experience to help manage anxiety. And my company Hatsumi, that looks at how you can visually communicate lived experience of pain and mental health conditions using 3D drawing. And interesting time in the UK. Lots of people, being very supportive and collaborative, people that are offering to do shopping for other people. I live in a very sort of close-knit area, and so people have just been working really, really closely to support each other. But I think it's just an interesting time for technology as well, and so there's a lot of us that have been looking at how we can work with musicians and artists to share gigs that have been cancelled online. But I think we're all just trying to work out what is going on at the moment. So I'm very grateful for the internet, and just how fast thinking I feel like people are at the moment. And I think we're all just trying to make sense of what happens next.
Yeah. What are you finding as far as the social distancing and the quarantines there in your area? What's the protocol?
I think most people have been recommended to stay at home unless fully necessary. However, I did leave the house and go to the office today because I needed some fresh air. And there were loads of people out, which I was quite surprised by. And so I think everyone's just, being as careful as possible, and, trying to make sure that we all protect ourselves. But it's all just, very unknown. Lots of people just working from home and trying best to collaborate and think about what we can do next. But there's so many brilliant things already on the internet, and I think it's just what I really love at the moment is people just seem to be pooling that information together. And I've been working quite closely with the Mercy UK to look at what apps we can tell people are available, and I think conversations like this are really helpful just to think about what else we can do to support people.
Awesome. Well, guys,
drop off.
some of us have to run, and thanks for popping in. And it was great to hear your gratitude. Positive vibes to you. And we'll have to do this again sometime. So have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.
Namaste, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you all. I'm sure you're all doing fabulous things, and take care of yourselves on your side of the pond as well.
Safe.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.
See you later.